At the airport gate, a white agent snatched a black woman's passport, then ripped it in half right in front of her. "You people always fake documents," he sneered, waving the torn pages like trophies. Passengers filmed. Security stood still. The woman didn't shout. She simply picked up the pieces, looked him dead in the eye, and said, "You just destroyed federal property." Minutes later, alarms blared, and the entire flight was canceled under her authority. The line at Gate 47 stretched halfway through Terminal C. 100 travelers, exhausted and restless, waited as one man's voice cut through the noise like a blade. "Next!" His name tag read Bradley Hutchinson, senior gate agent, 12 years with the airline. He wore his authority like armor. Every tap of his keyboard carried attitude, every glance dripping with the kind of arrogance that hides behind a uniform. When Amara Washington stepped forward, the tone shifted. A poised black woman in her late 30s, calm, composed, holding her boarding pass and passport. Bradley's eyes narrowed. "Business or economy?" "First class," Amara replied. He raised an eyebrow. "First class? On this flight?" "Yes," she said, handing him her documents. He smirked, scanning them. "You sure these aren't fake?" "We've had issues before." The people behind her shifted awkwardly. The atmosphere thickened. Amara's voice stayed steady. "My documents are valid." Bradley leaned forward. "You know what? Let's verify that." He typed slowly, then looked up with exaggerated suspicion. "This passport's interesting. Mind telling me what the DOJ means on your clearance?" Amara met his stare. "It means Department of Justice." A few passengers looked up from their phones. Bradley chuckled. "Oh, really? So you're a lawyer now? Maybe the president too?" He held the passport high, waving it like a prop. "People try this scam every week." "It's embarrassing, sir," Amara said calmly. "Please return my passport." But arrogance doesn't return things. It destroys them. Bradley ripped the passport in half. The sound was loud, enough to cut through the terminal. Chatter, a tearing that turned every head. The room went still. Gasps, whispers. A child asked, "Mom, why did he do that?" Bradley dropped the torn pages onto the counter. "Now, if you'll step aside, I'll call security." "You're not flying anywhere today." Amara's expression didn't change. She picked up the pieces of her passport slowly, like she was handling evidence. "You just destroyed federal property," Bradley scoffed. "Yeah? Prove it." She reached for her phone and tapped a contact marked DOJ Field Operations. The line clicked instantly. A clear, powerful voice answered, "Agent Washington, status report." Everyone heard it. Bradley's smirk vanished. "Wait, what?" Amara didn't blink. "This is Special Investigator Amara Washington, Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, ID 4721B. I'm at Gate 47, Terminal C. A federal crime just occurred, destruction of government. Identification and racial discrimination under U.S. Code 18242. The terminal went silent. Passengers began filming openly. Security froze mid-step. On speaker, the voice responded, "Confirmed, Agent Washington. Federal enforcement is en route. Maintain position. Flight 447 is grounded until further notice." The words, "Flight 447 is grounded," echoed across the room. Bradley's face drained of color. You don't have that authority." Amara turned to him, her tone calm but absolute. "You just interfered with federal travel under a DOJ inspection." "That gives me every authority I need," the intercom crackled. "Attention passengers of Flight 447, please remain seated. Boarding is temporarily suspended," murmurs filled the air. Cameras captured everything. Bradley's shaking hands, his sudden loss of voice. Within minutes, 3 federal agents in dark suits entered the gate area. One flashed credentials: Department of Justice, Civil Aviation Enforcement. Bradley stumbled back. "This is a misunderstanding." She tricked me." An agent cut him off. "Mr. Hutchinson, you're under arrest for obstruction, destruction of federal property, and racial discrimination under Title 18. As the handcuffs clicked shut, The passengers erupted in stunned whispers. Amara stood still, composed, her eyes never leaving him. Bradley shouted as they pulled him away. "You can't do this." "I didn't know who she was," Amara replied, her voice like a verdict. "You didn't need to know who I was. You just needed to know how to treat people." The room went quiet again. Cameras caught the line. It would later become the quote that headlined every news article. An agent approached Amara. "Agent Washington, do you wish to press charges?" "Yes," she said simply. "And I want this recorded. The flight is canceled until this gate undergoes full discrimination compliance review." The agents nodded. "Consider it done." Within 10 minutes, the monitors updated. Flight 447 canceled. By federal order. Passengers gasped. Phones rang. News alerts pinged across social media. And Gate 47 trended in under an hour. By the time Amara left the terminal, the video had already reached 3 million views. Headlines exploded overnight. Gate agent rips up DOJ investigator's passport, flight grounded. The next day, Bradley Hutchinson's name was everywhere, suspended, then indicted. The airline CEO issued a public apology, calling it a catastrophic lapse of judgment. But the real story didn't end there. Amara's investigation uncovered multiple cases of racial profiling by gate staff across several airports. Her report, The Gate Divide, triggered national hearings. Within weeks, Congress introduced new regulations, the Traveler Dignity Act. Bradley was convicted of 3 federal offenses and sentenced to 8 years in prison. The airline's director of operations resigned. Months later, Amara stood at a podium in Washington accepting the Presidential Medal of Freedom for service in civil rights enforcement. Cameras flashed as she said her final line, "Every gate in this country is now a door to justice, not humiliation." The audience rose to their feet. Applause thundered like a jet engine, and in airports across the nation, gate agents greeted passengers a little differently, aware that respect, once ignored, could now ground an empire, because power without humanity doesn't last. It only boards once, then crashes forever. Like, share and subscribe for more stories like this.